All right, welcome back to another edition of Forgotten First. This is the video series that I do where I'm talking about those forgotten, ignored, overlooked, minor first appearances for characters that you just might not be paying full attention to, or you might just not be aware of where they actually first appeared in comics. And I'm going to just do my best to kind of give you that information here as I see fit. That being said, hopefully you're enjoying this content as well as everything else I'm putting on the channel. If you are, please like, subscribe, hit that alert button so you don't miss anything. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. Please tell your friends, get them to join in on the fun as we go through on our march to 1,000 here on Rennavision. Now, if you want to see the books that I'm going to be talking about this week, just hang on after the break, and I'll be right back to talk a little Suicide Squad. Okay, so as I teased a little bit there at the end of the open, we're going to be looking at Suicide Squad again this week. This is a little bit of a follow-up to, the Forgotten First that I did, I think about 2 weeks ago now, thereabouts. No, it was just last week. It was just last week. Last week's Suicide Squad leading into it where I was talking about those modern first appearances of some of the characters, as well as a follow-up, in spirit as well to my dollar bin digging video where I covered Suicide Squad. That was 2 weeks ago, thereabouts. And might even have a little post-credit scene for this one. Now, given that Suicide Squad, the movie was released in theaters as well as on HBO Max this past weekend, I did watch it, and hopefully you did as well, because if not, you might want to check this video out later, because I'm going to definitely be talking about spoilers here. So if you don't want to know who makes it out of that movie, out of this lineup, who gets, who gets killed and who doesn't, please come back to this later at another time after you watch the movie. And it's a good flick. I enjoy it. I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I'm a big fan of James Gunn. Now, I had to do this again. I wasn't planning to do a Suicide Squad again because, well, a lot of the characters that I had high hopes for didn't make it very far through the movie. Javelin, Falula Borg, nope. Boomerang, a lot of surprises. TDK I kind of expected. I even mentioned that at the outset. It's just even Savant, like a ton of characters that I thought might have just a few moments, really didn't have much time in the movie, as basically like most of the team got wiped out right there in the open. Again, spoilers, so if you were still listening, hopefully you watched it. If not, well, there you go. A lot of them die in the open. So I got to reassess what I talked about. So what I'm going to be looking at is not only people who made it through the movie, but looking ahead based on the people who made it through this movie. And we're going to start out with Idris Elba's character, Bloodsport. I kind of locked him down as sacrificing himself for the team. Didn't think he would make it, but he actually did. And yes, I think I just loosely mentioned this book. This is a pretty well-known book. It's kind of come back down over time, the Superman 4. But that's not the book I actually want to talk about here, because this version of Bloodsport that was in Superman 4 with the red bandana, face mask, and just, the blank tank top, that was the look that carried through for this character for decades now, really. I mean, that Superman book is from the 80s, and that look really came and continued through into New 52 and to Rebirth. Every time we saw this character, that is how he appeared up until, and this is why I'm going to go with one of the overlooked books, this most recent run of Suicide Squad, which is really kind of adapting this team that is, in the movies. So with Peacemaker and whatnot, this is like a newer version of the team. And in this Suicide Squad series, in issue number 5 in particular, we get an updated Bloodsport that actually matches that movie version. From not only just the look, but just his weapons and abilities. Because if you watch the movie, he was just pulling weapons from his suit like it was like Iron Man almost. It was just I have no idea how it worked, where he got that from. They don't really explain that, but he was just pulling stuff off of this suit and just going to work. Now, this Suicide Squad 5, it's a book that only just came out, I think just this last month, July even. But in it, like I said, we get this look, this skull, kind of half-mask skull look with the blue and the orange. It's a really cool look. I did like it on screen. It definitely worked on screen. And I'm kind of, looking forward to seeing it more in the comic books going forward, making him a more interesting character. Because they did make him an interesting character in the movie, somebody that I wanted to follow. Yes, the story kind of echoed a lot of what they already did with Will Smith and Deadshot. But, yeah, it is what it is. it still worked for me, and I still enjoyed, the performance Idris Elba gave us. Now, when we look at this book a little bit further, inside, as I said, you can see they're rehashing like his old suit. You can see he's shooting Superman with a kryptonite bullet, all that, and he's got the red bandana, blank tank top look, and yeah, Amanda Waller, she basically gives him a backup story here for his little revamp, and she's taking Bloodsport and sending him through to another Earth, through the multiverse, I think to Earth 3, to go hunt down like the crime syndicate, like superheroes. So he gets this whole new look and, power upgrade with the guns that just kind of come out of the suit, and it's, like I said, it's a cool look. I dig it with the skull, half skull mask. It's just got a neat look to it. It does look a lot like the Taskmaster that Marvel just put out, but hey, it is what it is. Still like them both, but this is the kind of the movie version. I think this is actually from the Fortnite video game, but it gives you that sense of a clear shot of what that helmet kind of looked like in the movie. Now, going back to the estimated print run here on this book that, like I said, just came out in July 2021 for issue 5, where we get this revamped look. Who knows? Again, we're still not getting solid print run numbers from anywhere that we can report, through the pandemic. I mean, apart from everything moving away from Diamond to Lunar and all the different, I don't want to say publishers, but it's kind of crazy right now. So print runs are going to be kind of tough to, I think, nail down going forward. We're just going to have to kind of wing it on a lot of this stuff, but definitely still a cool book for this. And like I said, I don't have to get you prices on this because it's so recent. This is cover price or less. Like, you can find this still for cover probably on walls, or find it cheap in a recent back issue bin, maybe for like $2 or something like that, depending on what your shop does with their overstock and recent overstock. There's also, B covers to be had, and he did carry on the look through issue 6, but I did put this issue 6 cover as well as the B cover because he is on the cover, and I kind of like it. I like this with the red and the black and white kind of vibe to it. It's definitely a cool image, so just wanted to throw that out there just for fun. Now, moving on from that character in that book, I'm going to kind of focus in on Amanda Waller's crew here. Like, these other people, you think they're just crazy movie, additions, funny, funny little character actors like Stephen A.G. there or whatnot, just people to just throw in to have as extras. These are not extras. These are actually characters from the comic books. So we're just going to quickly look at them all because some of them might be a little important going forward. We're going to start in here with Flo. This is Flo Crawley. Crowley. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but Flo Crawley. She's right here. And if you watch the movie, she has a pretty significant role in that she attacks Waller. I don't know how that's going to get repaid in the future, or if we'll ever find out that story. But I know the character, I think, in the comics affected Waller as well and changed like her viewpoint. But it was, I think, her death that kind of changed how she was looking at things, as opposed to actually being attacked in the movie here, the Suicide Squad movie version, where she attacks Waller, knocks her out, stopping her from, blowing up Idris's head as the team was basically mutinying. They were leaving to go fight the monster when they were told just to come home. Again, sorry for spoiling things. If you didn't see it, you shouldn't be watching. I told you not to. I can only warn you so many times. But Flo, she first appears, as you might guess, in Suicide Squad #1. Yeah, this is gotten to be a little bit pricey over the last, couple of years, as we've gotten 2 movies now talking about this team since 2016. But yeah, this is the book that we're seeing the first appearance of that little side character. Yeah, definitely interesting to be sure. She's right in there as part of the team. The look kind of changes a little bit over time, but ultimately that's what we're getting here. But we're not really going to focus in on Flo because I don't know what we're going to see from her going forward. Because again, I feel like Waller's going to just take her out, and we're not really going to see her again after what she did. But who knows? So I'm going to kind of focus in on the other 2 because they tie in to the post-credit scene that we get for the movie. Again, we're talking spoilers, so that's why I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it, you shouldn't be watching this video. Or if you have no intentions of watching, I guess you can. But if you have no intentions of watching the movie, why do you care about these books? I don't know. That said, John Cena made it through, as we appear to have died, but we knew he was going to make it through because we knew, right, that he's getting an HBO Max series. He's going to have a series of his own, a mini that, Gunn came up with, and I think he worked on with John Cena, bringing that character a little bit more, giving us a little bit more in the future. And I think it's coming soon, like early 2022, but I'm not positive on the release date yet. But that said, this post-credit scene is what is driving the the next pick here, because while I don't have a good image of it, the other two characters from Waller's team, show up because they get assigned to Peacemaker going forward. So they're going to show up in that mini-series or whatever you want to call it. I don't know, series. I don't know if it's a mini-series. I'm going to continue it. Whatever the John Cena series is on HBO Max, he's got two handlers. It's not going to be Waller. It's these two, starting with this guy right here. And his name's, sorry for the extra twist there, John Economos. Don't know if he's saying it right, but John Economos is going to be part of that show. Also, he appeared in the Suicide Squad #1 along with Flo. So that's why I also just threw Flo in as well, because she's in this book as well with John. So John first appears here. Again, he's just a little side character in the comics. They don't give much story to these other workers, but they're there. They have little bits, little side stories, little subplots, and what have you throughout the run. But in the show, who knows what we're going to get? I feel like they're going to get a larger role because they weren't ignored. They weren't just side characters. They had parts to play throughout the movie we just saw. And I got to imagine these two characters that, again, we're going to get to are going to have a role to play in the Peacemaker show going forward. So again, here you can see inside the guts of the book. We're kind of following him through as he's going through Belle Reve. And yeah, so first appearance here. Estimated print run, May 1987. Sorry, this goes back too far, so I don't have print run numbers either for that. Print run is unimportant right now. We're just going to talk about this book. Now, this book, if you want to go find one, like I said, it's not super cheap. Right now, you're looking at 30 to 40 bucks online if you want to go buy one off of eBay. Maybe you can hit one at auction. I mean, look, even the auction's right at 35 at the time of that snapshot, but 30 to 40 bucks is not cheap, but it's not super duper expensive. So if you really wanted one, you get a good copy, might be something to look at. And it's not just because of these two minor characters in the background. Those are just kind of footnotes. It's also Suicide Squad #1, where you're getting Boomerang and Bronze Tiger or what have you in that crew. And it's the first issue of this modern Suicide Squad. It's an interesting book, and a book that you might want to have anyway. I'm not saying you just go hunt it just for these minor Waller workers. But that's what's available. And what has actually sold recently, again, it's right in that range, 30 bucks. So August 9th, see it, buy it now. Somebody bought one for 30 bucks. So that's the price range we're looking at on that Suicide Squad #1. Getting back to that post-credit scene, like I said, there were two people showing up with John Cena at his bedside who are assigned to him. And the other, she is right here. She is the character of Amelia Harcourt. Again, they're actually from the comics. These aren't just throwaway people mixed in. These characters, even in the background of this movie, are from the comics. So got to give James Gunn credit for being that level of detail in doing the film. And like I said, we're going to see a little more of these characters, so they're not just throwaways. But her first appearance is a bit later. Rebirth, Suicide Squad #2. She kind of comes in and almost comes in as a little bit of like a rival to Waller throughout this. But who knows? Maybe we get that kind of similar vibe in the show where she challenges. She wants to be the head of the table or whatnot. But Suicide Squad #2 is that first appearance for Amelia Harcourt. Again, a character we are going to see as handler for John Cena in the show as it comes. Again, not sure how many episodes we're going to get. I got to imagine it's going to be limited, maybe like 4 to 6. It's probably going to be pretty short, but I'm assuming it's going to be pretty entertaining. And as I said, I think these characters are going to have significant roles. Maybe not huge roles, but good supporting roles, to be sure. In my opinion, that's my guess. But I've been wrong before. But when we look at this character, again, you can see she's right in here. You get the full introduction in this issue. If you go online, some resources tell you that she shows up in issue 1, but I scoured issue 1. I didn't see her at all. It's not till issue 2 that Harcourt actually shows up. So just keep that in mind. That was what I found. I didn't see her at all in issue 1, so she's definitely in issue 2. Estimated print run, September 2016. Hits that sweet spot, so I can give you a print run number on this. And it ain't small. 89,575 copies of this book. This is a cheap book, too. This is a book that's easily found. It was Rebirth. There were 2 covers for this, one of which was Jim Lee and Scott Williams. Jim Lee art. This book was heavily printed. He was drawing this, and this was right at the time that the first movie, I believe, was coming out. So that's why we got a revamped team there. With that new team at the time, which was now been revamped again all of 5 years later, or actually less, considering the movie got delayed because of COVID and whatnot. But that being said, Jim Lee, and I think there's also a pretty cool Lee Bermejo on the second print. I might be wrong on that. I might be confusing issue numbers, but That's it. A and B covers for Rebirth, as you know. And again, you look online, you want to buy this thing, $1.98. It's $2 online if you want to buy one. Super, super cheap. And if you want to look at what actually sold, yeah, $1.98. I guess that's the going rate online. $1.98 for this thing. But this is something, like I said, easily found in dollar bins. This is overstock, Rebirth overstock. You can easily find in dollar bins. So, hey, take a shot. Grab it in a dollar bin for fun. Who knows? Who knows where the character might go in the future? Probably not very far, but still, for $1. And that's why I'm putting my little dollar bin marker here. Might as well scoop one up. So, those were the 3 that I wanted to talk about for this week. Maybe I got a little bit of a post-credit scene, just like the movie. I don't know. You'll have to keep watching to find out if I do. But Suicide Squad number 5 to get that revamped Bloodsport. Suicide Squad number 1, where you're getting Flo Crawley and John Economos. And then Amelia Harcourt showing up in issue 2. Yeah, I realize they're not superheroes. They're not super characters, those last few. Even Bloodsport, really. But, hey, I just found them interesting. They all made it through the movie. And we know we're getting more of at least those last 2 in that Peacemaker show. So just something to throw out there, just so you know. So I just want to say thank you for stopping by. Hopefully you enjoyed that and you're enjoying this series as well as all the other content I'm putting out there. Tell a friend. Let's get that subscriber count up. I want to have a giveaway that has a ton of books in it, a ton of value in there that I'm give away for free just for hitting 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal. I'd love to hit it before the end of summer. So help me out and tell your friends to come and check out Rennavision. Now, that being said, maybe I'll have a little something at the end of this. Maybe not. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so I was a little heavy-handed with my tease that there's a post-credit scene to this video. Yes, I did one. I just did one for fun because I need to do a little bit of a correction. But the correction that I'm doing is actually to a dollar bin digging video, not to a Forgotten Firsts. But I want to give a thanks for the heads up to Devin that I made a mistake when I did dollar bin digging, and I just want to address it. And it makes sense to do it here because this character also made it through the movie. Despite being the first that died, Weasel made it at the end. We get that quick tease before we get the Peacemaker tease. We get the, or no, is it after? Yeah, Peacemaker might have been first. And let's get that quick tease that Weasel actually survived. And he just wanders off into the woods. Now, I'm not saying we're going to get anything special out of Weasel going forward. Character was creepy as hell, but he did make it. So I wanted to mention him in this video because we're doing characters that actually made it through, despite the number of people that didn't make it out of this James Gunn Suicide Squad movie. But this post-credit scene made sense for me to do a post-credit update on a mistake that I made, and that was with his first appearance, which was not Firestorm 38. He was on the cover, to be sure, but he showed up for the few issues before that. I don't know why I had the book up there, but I did. I had the wrong book. So I want to correct it. It is Fury of Firestorm, Nuclear Man, number 35. That is actually the first appearance for Weasel. While you might be able to find that other book in a dollar bin, and I'd probably grab it. It's got a pretty cool cover for Weasel, if you want a Weasel cover, because Weasel's not here. I'd still say check out that 38 in a dollar bin, because you'll probably find it. But 35 is his first, if you want the actual first appearance of Weasel. Now, you can see Weasel. I don't know why he wears the orange outfit, but there it is. That's it. That's his look, I guess, in the comics. But you can see he's not actually wearing it in the comics. He looks more like the Weasel we see in the movie, to sort of a little more of a panther face. But all right, panther, Weasel, whatever. This is his first appearance in Firestorm 35. So just wanted to make that correction. Again, thanks to Devin. Hit me up on IG. Again, guys, feel free. Hit me on IG. I'll chat with you. Whatever you got. You gotta make suggestions. You got to tell me I did something wrong. I'm fine, except admitting that I'm wrong. I was wrong. I screwed up. So I'm trying to correct it. So that's what we do here. And hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed that little post-end credit scene update. But that's all I got for you this week. So thank you again, and I will see you guys next week.